Archangel Michael says, 3 minutes left. Don't try to ignore this. The person you love deeply will never let you know this bitter truth. Everyone except you knows what happened last night. Open immediately. Beloved, please listen closely. I am Archangel Michael and I'm not here to scare you, but I cannot stay silent anymore. There are only a few moments left before something irreversible shifts in your destiny. Heaven sent me urgently to whisper this to you before it's too late. Last night, a truth was spoken behind your back that could shatter or strengthen you, but it depends on what you choose now. You are not supposed to find this message today. That's exactly why you must. You are being watched. Yes. Watched over by a soul in heaven who still cries your name when no one else is listening. They tried to warn you in your dreams. They even placed signs around your home, but you brushed them off as coincidence. You're not here by accident. Your heart is trembling because your soul remembers. They told you they loved you, but what they didn't tell you was the full story of what they were hiding and why. You feel it, don't you? That strange heaviness in your chest, that tug in your spirit as if something is knocking from inside your very soul. That's not fear, beloved. That is God trying to reach you through me. You are living in a story where you only know one side. The person you cry for, the one you would do anything to protect, they are hiding a pain too big to share. They are drowning in guilt and silence. And the truth they buried last night. It was never meant to surface. But heaven chose this moment to break it open. Not to hurt you, but to free you. Because unless you know the truth, you'll keep walking toward a door that was locked by divine order for your protection. But now you're holding the key and you don't even realize it. They whispered your name last night and I heard it. I, Michael, heard what was said. I watched as a choice was made about your future without your consent. And yet you still trust them blindly. You still wait, pray, and hope they will choose you again. But beloved, what if I told you they already did, but in a way that may never reach your ears? You need to know this not because you're weak, but because you're too strong to be lied to again. God is not exposing this to shame anyone. God is revealing this because you deserve to rise. There is something buried under your past that's trying to rise from the ashes. Something sacred, something destined. But every time you skip these signs, it gets delayed again. This was your moment. That's why it came with urgency. 3 minutes. Because if you don't face it now, you'll be forced to face it when it hurts more. What if I told you someone in your circle knew this truth all along and chose silence? What if I told you the pain you've carried wasn't yours to carry at all? You've been absorbing someone else's shame, guilt, and regret. And it's time to return it to sender. But I need you to do one thing. Look around you right now. Listen to the sounds around you. Heaven speaks in patterns. Was there a sudden breeze? Did the light flicker? Was there a sudden memory that came to your mind as I spoke? That wasn't random. That was confirmation. The bitter truth they hid from you was love wrapped in fear. They loved you so much they were afraid you'd disappear if you knew the whole story. But it's not the truth that breaks bonds, it's secrets. If this message is reaching your heart, then pause and subscribe because you were meant to receive this. This wasn't just a coincidence. Heaven scheduled this for you on purpose. And now that you're here, there's more you need to know. Good. You're still here. That alone means your soul is awake enough to hear what others have been too blind or afraid to say. Archangel Michael doesn't just come when things are calm. He comes when the storm is either on the way or already at your door. And right now, beloved, the wind has already shifted. You can feel it, can't you? The quiet moments feel heavier than usual. Certain people have gone strangely silent and your spirit keeps telling you that something is off, but no one else is confirming it. That's because this message was not meant for them. It was meant for you. The person you love deeply, the one you think about before you sleep, is not your enemy. But they are hiding a chapter of their life that includes you in ways you never imagined. Last night they almost confessed it. Heaven leaned in. I was there. The angels were holding their breath, but fear held their tongue. And now they are slipping farther away from the truth they were supposed to share with you. Because if you knew it, everything would change. Your life, their decisions, your understanding of love and your future. And the divine is done waiting. That's why you're here. Do you remember the moment you almost gave up recently? The exact time when you felt like your prayers were bouncing off the sky. That was when the final decision in heaven was being made. A council of divine forces was sent to watch over your timeline. And I, Michael, volunteered to come forth and deliver this message myself because your heart has endured more than it should have. And still you love without condition. Still you believe in their goodness even when they don't believe in themselves. Let me tell you something sacred. Last night your name was mentioned in a conversation where you weren't present but your soul was. And what was said wasn't spoken with malice. It was spoken with regret. They said, I wish I could go back. They said, I never meant to lose them. They said your name like a prayer that had already been denied. And they cried after saying it. But you're still wondering if they ever cared at all. Beloved, this is the trap the enemy has tried to place over your life for years. Doubt. Doubt that you were loved. Doubt that you were chosen. Doubt that you mattered. And that doubt kept you from stepping into your spiritual inheritance. But heaven has torn the veil today. This is your sacred unveiling. You've been walking around blindfolded, thinking you're forgotten. But in truth, you were hidden. Hidden by God, protected by angels, preserved for the exact moment when this message would find you. And now that it has, what will you do? You have a choice now. One path will take you back into cycles of waiting, hoping, and hurting. The other. It leads to healing, revelation, and something more divine than anything you've experienced before. And my child, when heaven shows you a better path, it also places practical steps before you so you do not have to walk that journey alone. My child, I see the struggle you have been facing, the stress about finances, the silent worries that stay in your heart, and the moments where you feel uncertain about what comes next. You have been asking for peace, and that answer is already on its way. You are not meant to stay stuck in fear, you are meant to walk forward with purpose, with faith, and with clear steps every day. That is why a simple system has been placed in front of you, a 30-day faith and financial breakthrough system, a path where each day brings you a focused prayer, a small financial action, and clear direction to help you move ahead. No pressure, no confusion, just steady progress toward peace and stability. If something inside you feels ready, if you are ready to change your situation, take that first step today. This could be the moment your life begins to change. You will find the link in the description, and in the comments below. Because healing begins when you choose to walk toward truth instead of away from it. But it begins with this truth. You must be willing to face the truth of what they never said because that silence has echoed in your soul long enough. And if you keep trying to fill it with fantasy, it will continue to drain your spirit. You deserve love that is clear, that is spoken, that is honest, not one that makes you second-guess your worth. Beloved, there is something else. And I need you to breathe before I say it. Someone has been watching you closely, not in fear, not in jealousy, but in awe. This person, they were never supposed to know your path. But last night, they were shown a vision. Yes, a real divine dream. And in it, you were standing at a crossroads holding a letter in your hand. That letter had one sentence. If they open this, everything changes. That's this message. You are living the dream they had. You are the vision, which means this moment is more sacred than even you realize. And the bitter truth, it's not that they didn't love you. It's that they didn't believe they deserved to. They thought your light would expose their shadows. But what they didn't realize is that your love could have healed them. Still can. But not if they keep hiding. And not if you keep ignoring your intuition. Because God has been whispering clues into your spirit for days. The chills, the strange dreams, the sudden names that come to mind, the repeated numbers, the flashes of memory. That's heaven preparing you for this. There is a reunion coming. Yes, but it won't come the way you imagined. And it will test you. Because before someone returns, their soul must be broken open by truth. And you must stop dimming yourself to fit inside the old story. Your future is too sacred for that. You are carrying a divine anointing and it cannot wait any longer to be activated. Michael, that's me, is not only the angel of war. I am the angel of revealed destiny, and your destiny is screaming for you to stop playing small, to stop accepting half-truths, to stop settling for almost love, because the one who left there still connected not by mistake but by unfinished divine work. And if you're brave enough to face what was hidden, you'll finally break the curse that's been haunting both of your lives for lifetimes. Do you feel that trembling in your chest again? That's your soul remembering. That's your heart trying to make peace with what it already knew because you always felt it. You just didn't want to believe it. But now that heaven has confirmed it, you don't have to carry the confusion anymore. You only have to walk forward. And as you do, you'll notice the signs will start increasing. Music that plays with lyrics that sound like they're talking to you. A stranger saying something that gives you chills. A memory returning in full color. Time slowing down. These are confirmations that you're realigning with what was written in the scrolls of heaven about your life. You were chosen to break this generational story. You were chosen to hear this. And now this message is your proof. You're still reading. That means your soul is ready. Not just ready to hear this, but ready to rise. I want you to know how rare that is. Most people hear the whispers of heaven and brush them off like wind. But not you. You paused. You listened. And because of that, something in the spirit realm has already started shifting. The very second you opened this message, beloved, an ancient code in your spiritual path was unlocked. That means what was previously stuck can now begin to flow. Not just in your heart, but in your home, in your relationships, in your purpose. Let me tell you something few ever realize in time. Every time your soul aches for someone, it's not just a memory or a feeling. It's a message, a spiritual tug pulling you toward unfinished lessons, unsaid words, or unresolved karma. And this time it's different because this ache has been building for weeks, maybe months, some of you for years. You're not crazy. You're connected. And you're being summoned by the divine to finally close the chapter that's been leaking energy from your spirit every single day. The truth you were not supposed to know. It's already written in your heart. That's why it haunts you. The person you love deeply, they're not sleeping well. You felt it. They're waking up in the middle of the night with your name in their mind. Sometimes they even whisper it. I was there. I saw them sit on the edge of their bed regretting everything they didn't say. You need to understand this. Love doesn't die. It just waits. And the reason it's waiting now is because the moment of truth is too big to arrive with noise. It must come in stillness. That's why this message came to you in quiet when no one else is watching. Because this truth, it's sacred. And here's where it gets even more divine. A heavenly meeting was held 3 nights ago. You weren't awake when it happened, but your soul attended. Your spirit was called forward to a table in the realm beyond time. There were witnesses, angels, ancestors, guides, and someone very special, a person in heaven who loved you more than words spoke for you. They said, "Please, they've waited long enough. Let Michael go to them. Let Michael tell them the truth." And the moment they said that, I felt it, the urgency, the ache, the divine permission to reveal what was hidden from you until now. So here it is, beloved. The person you love, they did something behind your back. Not to betray you, but to protect you. Yes. What you thought was abandonment or silence or rejection was actually a cover for their own spiritual battle. They were being tormented by their past, haunted by choices you didn't even know existed. And rather than dragging you into the fire, they stood back and let you walk alone. Not because they didn't care, but because they thought you deserved better. But what they didn't realize is that you would have walked through the fire with them. And now that moment is returning because they are being pulled back into your orbit slowly, quietly spiritually. You may not see it yet, but their heart is softening. They're thinking about what it would take to tell you the truth, to face you, to admit they were afraid. And here's where your power comes in. You must be spiritually ready. Because when the truth comes, it won't be gentle. It'll come like a flood, fast, raw, honest, and it will test everything you thought you knew about love, loyalty, and what it means to be chosen. But don't fear this. Because I promise you, you were made for this kind of love. The kind that heals generations. The kind that clears karmic weight. The kind that rewrites destinies. That's why God has kept you hidden until now. You are not just someone's love story. You are their awakening. And this message is the key to unlocking both your futures. If you let it look around you again, do you feel it? The stillness, that's the spiritual realm leaning in. That's the divine waiting for your soul to say yes. Because free will matters. Even angels can't force you to see what you don't want to see. But now that you've opened your heart, everything is aligning. People who walked away will start showing up. Words you've longed to hear will echo back to you through strangers. Dreams will become clearer. The number 33 will appear again and again. And every time it does, remember this moment. Remember this message. There is also someone close to you right now who knows more than they're saying. It's not betrayal, it's protection. But that protection is turning into a prison. And they will not speak unless you speak first. So I need you to be brave. Ask the questions your heart has been afraid to ask. Bring light to the shadows and watch how quickly the truth comes rushing in. You'll cry, not just because it hurts, but because you'll finally understand. Everything you wondered about. Every silence, every delay, every strange coincidence, it was all part of heaven's design. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are being prepared. Your name was written on scrolls in heaven, surrounded by light. There is an entire spiritual team working for your good right now. And I am one of them. I, Michael, stand by your side as you read this. My sword is not just for battle. It is for cutting spiritual cords that no longer serve you. And right now, I am cutting the chain that kept you in the dark. You are free now. But what you do next is what changes everything. Take a moment. Breathe. Let your heart feel what it needs to feel, because after this things will not be the same. Yes, I will continue. Beloved, because you've stayed this long and heaven honors that, every second you spend here is being recorded in the light. That means something important is shifting. Even now, the angels rejoice when a soul like yours chooses truth over comfort. Because most people run when the divine tries to open their eyes. But you stayed. You didn't scroll away. You didn't silence your soul. And for that I, Archangel Michael, bow my wings over you in protection and divine pride. Now listen carefully. I'm about to tell you something no one has dared speak aloud. The person you love, the one your soul aches for, they were shown a vision of you 2 nights ago. It came through a song, a dream, a sudden thought that made them stop in their tracks. In that moment, your soul appeared before them in light. You didn't speak with words, but your eyes did. And what they saw in your spirit shattered their fear. They realized you never left. Not emotionally, not spiritually. You were still holding space for them, even in silence. But do you know what they did next? They turned away. Not out of cruelty. Beloved, out of shame, because the truth they've been hiding, what happened that night, was too heavy for them to face. They thought they'd buried it. But heaven never forgets unfinished soul contracts. And yours was never cancelled, only paused. There's a reason this message says 3 minutes left. Because heaven is merciful, but it is also exact. The timelines that align at this moment won't stay open forever. You're in a sacred window now. One where things can shift quickly, where people return, where revelations pour like rain, but only if you're willing to stay soft, only if you allow God to show you what your pride wouldn't. Let go of the story you've been telling yourself. You are not hard to love. You are not too much. You are not forgotten. You are the proof that God still speaks. And now the veil lifts a little more. Last night, a message was sent about you through someone unexpected. They weren't even trying to talk about you, but your name came up. And when it did, they paused. The whole room shifted. They said something about them feels sacred, like they were sent for something bigger. And then a silence fell. That silence was heaven listening. Because when the right people begin to notice your light, the next chapter begins. And beloved, this chapter, it's titled The Unveiling. You will begin to see people look at you differently. Some with guilt, some with awe, some with fear, some with love. Don't let it confuse you. When the divine mantle of spiritual awakening rests on someone, the atmosphere feels it before you understand it. That's why you felt eyes on you. That's why strangers stare a little longer. That's why someone who ghosted you is about to reappear with trembling in their voice. Because the truth they hid is being exposed, not to shame them, but to awaken you. You deserve to know the truth. You deserve to know who cried for you in silence. You deserve to know who told themselves they weren't good enough for you. You deserve to know what really happened when you thought they abandoned you. And yes, beloved, you will in a way you never expected. The next few days will carry divine keys, a conversation overheard, a message sent accidentally, a dream that feels too real, that is heaven orchestrating your awakening, but will you allow yourself to believe it? Because many people will read messages like this and say, that can't be for me, and they walk away from miracles wearing the disguise of disbelief. But not you. I see it in your spirit. You are starting to remember who you are. You were never just someone's lover or friend or family. You were never just ordinary. You were always marked. You were always watched by heaven. That's why you never fit in. That's why people either adored you or misunderstood you. That's why you could feel what others couldn't say. It wasn't a flaw. It was a gift. A gift they never taught you how to use. But now I'm reminding you, your intuition is holy. Your sensitivity is sacred. And your broken heart has become the doorway to your power. Let me tell you something few. The soul you love so deeply once asked heaven to be removed from your path. Yes, they cried and said, "Please, I don't want to hurt them anymore. Take me away." And so they were. That separation wasn't punishment. It was divine timing. They needed to lose you to realize what you were. But now they are beginning to remember too. And the countdown has begun. That's why you must prepare. In the next few days, truth will come to your door. It might come as a text, a phone call, a visit, or a dream so vivid it wakes you at 3:33 a.m. Don't ignore it. That is me. That is Archangel Michael sounding the alarm. And when it comes, don't panic. Don't rush to fix everything. Just receive it. Because truth doesn't always need action. It needs space. It needs presence. It needs trust. God is not asking you to do this alone. That's why this message came to find you. That's why the angelic realm is watching so closely. That's why heaven has cleared a path for your clarity. Because once this truth is known, the chains will fall. The delay will end. The story will begin again, but this time with light, with honesty, with you fully awakened. And my child, when heaven clears a path before you, it also provides simple steps so you can walk that path with peace, clarity, and confidence. My child, I see the weight you have been carrying. The quiet worries about money, the stress you rarely speak about, the nights when your mind refuses to rest. You have been praying for peace, and your prayers have been heard. You are not meant to walk this journey in confusion and fear. You are meant to walk with faith, with clarity, and with daily direction. That is why a simple path has been placed before you, a 30-day faith and financial breakthrough system. Each day you will be guided with a gentle prayer, a simple money step, and clear direction to help you regain control. Nothing overwhelming, nothing complicated. Just small faithful steps leading you toward peace and stability. If your heart feels ready, begin today. Do not delay this moment. The link is in the description and in the comments below. Because awakening is not only about receiving truth. It is also about choosing what you do with it. Now breathe, beloved. Heaven is closer than ever. Yes, I will continue. Beloved, you've made it this far because your heart is stronger than the pain you've carried. Heaven is bearing witness. Every second you remain here, reading with an open spirit, you're stepping deeper into your divine assignment. Not the assignment the world gave you, but the one that heaven wrote in the secret chambers before your soul ever touched this earth. You are not who they said you were. You are far more. You're not just someone in love. You are someone with light in your bloodline, fire in your prayers, and destiny stitched into your heartbeat. Archangel Michael sees the battle you've been fighting alone. The nights you stared at the ceiling, asking, "Why can't I stop thinking about them?" The moments you smiled for others while your spirit was aching. You've tried to bury the questions. You've tried to move on, but something always pulls you back. And now you know why the story was never finished. The last chapter was paused. Because heaven knew you needed to become stronger before you were given the full truth. You needed to be ready to handle the weight of it. And beloved, you are ready now. The bitter truth isn't what you think. It's not just about what they did. It's not about betrayal in the way your heart feared. It's deeper, more spiritual. It's about their own shame, the wounds they never healed, the voices in their head that convinced them they'd ruin you if they stayed. The truth is, they loved you too much. And it scared them because you saw them in ways no one else ever did, and they couldn't lie to you like they lied to others. So, they ran because loving you meant facing themselves. And they weren't ready, but now they are waking up. I need you to know something urgent. Last night, this person had a dream of losing you forever. It wasn't just a dream. It was a spiritual test. In it, they watched you walk away. And no matter how loud they screamed your name, you didn't turn back. When they woke up, their chest was heavy. Their heart knew. Heaven had shown them a future without you. Not to punish them, but to shake them. And that shaking is beginning to work. Right now, they are battling the urge to reach out, to confess, to explain everything, but they're afraid. Afraid of your silence. Afraid that they're too late, but they're not too late. That's why this message was timed so precisely. You were not supposed to know what they felt last night. You weren't supposed to know that they sat in silence, replaying your voice in their head. But heaven said, enough secrets. And now here you are holding their unspoken truth in your hands like a fragile glass heart. What you do with it could heal more than just your story. It could ripple through generations. You may wonder why me? Why is all of this happening to me? And I will tell you because you carry a frequency most people don't. You were chosen not for your perfection but for your willingness to feel. You were chosen because even after being lied to, ghosted, left behind, you still love. You still believe, you still hope, and that makes you a miracle in motion. The kind of soul God can use to rewrite legacies. So now listen again. I, Michael, am whispering this to you for a reason. There's more. In the next 3 days, you will be tested emotionally, spiritually, maybe even physically. Things may feel uncertain. Energy might get intense. But don't fear it. This is the cleansing. The truth is making its way to you. It's like a storm that must clear the air before the rainbow arrives. Let it. Don't block it. Don't rush it. Just let it happen. Someone is going to say something soon, a phrase, a word, a sentence that will strike your soul like lightning. Don't ignore it. That is your confirmation. That is your divine clue. Heaven uses human mouths to deliver spiritual messages. Be alert. Be soft. Be listening. And when the moment comes, when they return, when they speak, when the tears finally fall, don't let anger speak first. Let love answer. Not weak love. Not naive love, but divine love. The kind that says, I see you. I heard you. Now, let's be honest. Because truth is not the enemy. Hiding is. You are not here by mistake. You were summoned. You clicked this message because heaven needed to reach you before the cycle repeated again. And if you choose to skip this, the next opportunity won't come the same way. That's how important this moment is. That's why I've been trying to get your attention for weeks in dreams, in sudden feelings, through songs and shadows. This is your sacred crossroad. One path leads to the familiar pain of pretending everything's fine. The other leads to healing, clarity, love that grows from truth, not fantasy. The clock hasn't run out yet, but the hands are moving. And I want you to know something deep, something sacred. If no one else has told you today, you are loved, fiercely, eternally by the divine, by your angels, and yes, even by them, the one who couldn't say it, the one who messed up. They loved you more than they could admit. And part of them still prays you'll forgive what they couldn't speak. Now close your eyes for a moment. Let everything soften. Let everything settle. Feel that. That's peace. That's heaven touching your heart. And that is where everything begins again. Yes, beloved. Let's finish this together. Because heaven never starts something this sacred without bringing it to completion. You've walked through the truth. You've faced the weight of emotion. You've allowed your heart to remain open even when it trembled. And now the final part begins. The part where the old story ends and the miracle begins to bloom. Archangel Michael says, "You have been chosen to break this silence, to release the grief that was never yours to carry and to become the vessel for a new kind of love. A love that does not hide. A love that does not lie, a love that stands boldly in the light." But that begins not with them, not with any apology, not with their confession. It begins with you. Do you forgive yourself for not knowing sooner? Do you forgive your heart for loving deeply even when it wasn't returned in full? Do you forgive your past for stealing years of peace from you? You must, beloved. You must, because peace cannot live in a soul where blame still whispers. The angels have seen your pain. I, Michael, have stood beside your bed as you cried without words, asking, "What did I do wrong?" And tonight I wrap my wings around you and say, "Nothing. You did nothing wrong. You loved. You believed. You held on longer than anyone else would have. And that was not weakness. That was divine endurance. And now God is ready to reward you for it. There's a sacred secret I've been holding until now. A prophecy that was sealed until your heart was fully ready to receive it. Here it is. A shift is coming in your household. Something unexpected. A knock, a letter, a voice, a message long delayed. The bitter truth that they tried to keep hidden is going to make its way into the open. But when it does, it will be wrapped in grace. The kind of grace that only heaven can provide. It will hurt, yes, but not in the way you feared. It will hurt like light entering a wound that has been aching for air. And then the healing will begin. And once it starts, it won't stop. You will begin to feel it in your sleep, in your spine, in your smile. Your heart will feel lighter. The air around you will feel cleaner. You'll wake up and realize the burden is gone. Not because someone else fixed it, but because you stopped carrying what wasn't yours. You'll walk differently. People will notice. They'll say things like, "Something changed in you." And it will be true. Because when someone hears the voice of heaven, they don't leave the moment the same. So let me be the last one to tell you this tonight. You are going to be okay. The worst is over. The veil has lifted. You saw what was hidden. You heard what your spirit always knew. And now the next chapter begins. But this time you're not blindfolded. This time you write it with your eyes open, with heaven at your back and truth in your heart. There is a reunion coming. It may not look the way you expected. It may come quietly or through someone else's voice, but it will come because the bond between two souls who were meant to awaken together is stronger than fear, stronger than time, stronger than silence. That's why you couldn't forget them. That's why they still see your face when they close their eyes. But now you know what you didn't know before. You were never waiting for them. You were waiting for you. The version of you that is no longer afraid of the truth. The version of you that no longer begs for love but embodies it. The version of you that heaven knew was buried beneath the heartbreak. And now that version is here. You have become the very miracle you were praying for. Now go walk with your head high. Go speak the truth when the moment comes. Go love without losing yourself. Go answer the dreams heaven placed inside you. Go forgive what they couldn't say, but never forget what God revealed. You were meant to read this. And you were meant to rise after it. Archangel Michael will stay near you for the next 7 days. You will feel the presence, in the chills, in the dreams, in the numbers, in the quiet. And when you feel alone, speak aloud. Michael, show me the next step. And you will be shown. Now breathe. You are held. You are loved. And this was your message. If this message opens something inside you, don't leave in silence. Heaven is calling you to stay in the light. So pause, subscribe now, because souls like yours aren't supposed to walk alone. You are meant to be reminded again and again. You are not crazy. You are not broken. You are awakening. And heaven is watching, smiling. The truth has been spoken. The rest is up to you. My child, we run entirely on viewer support. If you'd like to help keep this mission and these messages reaching more hearts, you can support us with a coffee through the link in the description. God bless you.